This is Fire Talk Radio Podcast, and you can check us out on firetalkradio.com. You can email us at firetalknetwork@gmail.com. You can send us a voicemail at 814-380-9820. You can always check us out live on YouTube and Rumble. Hit the like and subscribe button to find out when we go live, and subscribe to us on your favorite podcasting streaming platform. This evening on Fire Talk Radio, episode 58, we're going to check out some double downing again of Whoopi Goldberg and some of her actions. Justice talks about Ashley Madison's site in a same-sex case. We're going to review the January 6th final outcome and the 1.7 omnibus bill, and possibly what is coming up on January 6th of 2023's Supreme Court docket. This and more on Fire Talk Radio.
I can only count to four. I can only count to four. I can only count to four. I can only count to...
All right, man. It has been one hell of a weekend after Christmas. So, ladies and gentlemen, this is episode 58 of Fire Talk Radio. What's going on, Jason?
Not much. Do you have a good Christmas?
I had a decent Christmas. Stuff? Yes, I put together my daughter's giant fucking dream house that she got from Santa Claus, because that when the instructions say this will take 3 hours to assemble, you don't really think it's gonna take 3 hours. Fuck if it didn't take 3 hours. God.
See, usually I estimate longer. Like whenever it says this job is going to take 1 to 3 hours, I'm like, oh, so that means anywhere between 3 and 9 hours.
Yeah, no, I pulled my impact.
It's kind of like the sex rule, like if someone tells you how many people they with, you got to like divide it by 3. Like, dude, when I was in 4 chicks, I'm like,
Sure.
Did you really? Man. And how many tests have you had to get?
Right. Are you a dad? Do you not know if you're a dad or not?
That sounds like it should be the beginning of like an infomercial or something. Are you a father? Do you not know if you're a father? Well, here at the law firm of...
Oh, I forgot to talk about this on the notes. I saw a report from the CDC that they are talking about putting out an ad about COVID-19 injuries. I fucking called it 2 years ago.
We've been calling.
We're going to get an infomercial. If you got a COVID shot and you were injured due to it, please call 1-800 blah, blah, blah for your settlement payment.
Right.
Because you get...
Right. And you can call JG Wentworth to get your money now.
Right. I saw that and I was like, I read that and I was like, I'm tired of being right. I'm tired of being right. I'm tired of it.
Yeah.
Speaking of,
this whole podcast is like we should be fortune tellers, because everything that people were saying were conspiracy theorists on was right. The Twitter files, all of that.
So I was hanging out this afternoon. Good old Shipwreck. She had her nooners, which they're very entertaining. So if you check this out, please check her out. She does them. Subscribe, whatever. We were talking. She brought up a couple things, and it was like we were talking about the Matrix breaking. So the assumption is that Hillary should have won in 2016. Trump broke the Matrix. His administration alone pulled the wool out of in front of everybody. No, everyone was just going along with it. Everyone assumed Hillary was going to win, and this is some bullshit because it was just like kind of just going along with Obama, and then when Trump won, it and then he's just calling shit out and making people actually look up shit. That was the one thing. Like me and you, we did this. Like I said, we did this like almost a decade ago, and then we walked away because of family shit.
Yep.
If we had stayed doing it all the way back then, all the way to now, I think our tone in the show would be a completely different, oh my god kind of moments. But watching the curtain come back, and you're like, I called that. I saw that. I saw that. And now everybody else is like, I can't believe this happened. They lied. It's like you're finally you're getting the I told you so moment.
The question is, though, that I always say is the people that need to be told I told you so, I think they bury their head in the sand and don't want to hear it. There's a cognitive dissonance there with them where they're going, no, but Republicans are fascists, so there.
Yeah, so they're like, oh my god, Trump is orange.
Right, orange man bad. Orange man
so
bad.
I mean,
bad,
the
bad.
problem is like liberals have Trump free in their head. He lives rent free in their minds. I could care less right now. Yes, Biden is the worst president. He's fucking surpassed Carter, and Carter fucked up the nation to the point to where it created Ronald Reagan. And I said Biden will create the next Ronald Reagan.
Yep.
Whether it's delayed if Trump runs again, and then the next Ronald Reagan after that, because I understand Trump if he does get reelected. He's one term left. That's all he can run. That's all he can work for. So he's gonna fucking just not give a shit about anything and just do what needs to be feel that he needs to be done to fucking slow roll this new world order.
Right.
And I'm calling a new world order because I think that's where we would have been if Hillary won. I think like the European nation, the US and everything would have all
of the stuff that you're seeing now that Biden is fucking up would have been done years ago, and it would have been a bigger fuck up.
I don't think we would have ever noticed it. I think it would have been.
That would have been the thing.
I think we would have. It would have been more behind everything would have been done behind the curtain, and I don't even think Russia would have even invaded Ukraine. I think we would have still been in Iraq or in Afghanistan. I think we would have made that turn from Afghanistan through Pakistan up to Ukraine already. I think that's where we would have been. It just makes a little bit more sense. I think Putin would have, but I don't think China would have ever thought about getting involved because everyone on the Democratic Party were buddy with Xi Jinping at the time on top of that. And nobody would have gotten caught in all those scandals where the Hunter Biden laptop is now coming out and all. And I saw fucking TikTok.
Think about this. The Democrats are releasing or just released Trump's tax returns, which basically showed nothing.
Like that he paid no federal tax in 2020.
You're right.
And
because he
like
didn't
he said,
make any money.
Like he said, he didn't make any money. He donated everything.
Right. When you have money, you can have years where you don't make any money. And you know what? You're still worth a shit ton of money.
people are like, oh my God, he didn't pay any taxes. Well, he didn't make any money. Well, it doesn't show that he donated. You have to understand, when he became president, he was taken off the payroll at Trump Industries. He was no longer receiving a paycheck. He can't. As a public servant, can't have
Right.
that kind of an interest. And then so he's living basically off his savings.
Right.
Um,
Or they do what a lot of rich people do, which is you take loans out.
yeah, that's
Loans are
probably
not,
what he did. Who fucking
loans
knows?
is not an income. That's the thing that a lot of people don't realize. When you have a certain amount of money, the reason you are able to live without actually making money is this loan game where you take out a big chunk of loan, then you take out another loan to pay off that loan, and you just keep that revolving door open.
That I'm so glad you even said that, because I completely forgot about it. You remember? Have you ever seen that show, The Chrisleys,
No.
on USA? So my wife loved the show. They were husband and wife. They just got federal prison time for doing similar things. They were taking loans out from the bank, but the problem is that they were shuffling the money from bank to bank to bank to bank. It got to the point to where they were making money. They weren't disclosing it to the IRS, and they weren't paying the loans back, to the point to where federal charges came in for tax evasion and money laundering, and all their assets seized and everything. I was like, damn. I was like, well, I mean, you gloat about all that money, and you just I fucked up.
Right. But that's the way. Once you make a certain amount of money, a lot of wealthy people, that's what they do. They don't live off of their income from working and, making money. What they do is they borrow money and they use their stock holdings or something like that as collateral. And then uh when they need more money, what they do is they go back to the bank, or back to another bank, get a bigger loan to pay off that first loan and have that extra money. And they just keep that revolving door.
So this is Todd and Julie Chrisley, accused of living a bit above their means, $30 million in loans, everything with the fraud. So back in May of 2020, they were arrested for a court. They were tried in Atlanta court. They borrowed over $30 million. So they ended up with, I think, was it fucking Todd was sentenced to 12 years and Julia was sentenced to 7 in federal prison. So that's the difference between, everyone's like, oh no, they're not going to serve a day in prison. No. They went to federal prison. They're going to serve every ounce of their sentence.
Yep.
That's the difference between state and federal.
But that's the thing. When people say, well, they're not paying their fair share in taxes, well, how do you tax somebody that's not making money?
True.
Again, you want to talk about, like Trump said, you wrote the code. You wrote
he called him out right there in the debate with Hillary.
You wrote the code.
You didn't pay taxes. Well, that makes me smart.
Right. So,
because you guys, I'm taking advantage of the same tax breaks as your donors.
Right.
That enjoy those tax breaks. If you want me to pay more taxes, then change the tax law.
And that's why people like Elon Musk and stuff like that can be worth billions of dollars, but not pay taxes certain years, because unless they sell they're worth billions of dollars in stock. Unless they sell their stock, that's not income. Therefore, what they do is they borrow against that stock. They take a loan out against that stock. That's not income. That's a loan. And then they live off that. They don't have to pay taxes on that. Trump did the same thing. It's the same thing every other wealthy person does. So again, what they showed when they did his taxes, nothing. It was a big nothing, like it always is. And but what this does, don't forget, right now, Trump is a private citizen. The Democrats
They
in
released
the
they released a
they
private citizen's
released
taxes.
a private citizen's tax returns to the
Trump
public.
came out and said, okay, fine. If my taxes are going to be released, everybody's needs to be released.
So
Sure. I want the
what-
House. I want all the House representatives released because I want to see all the money that they're getting from the bureaucrats,
Hunter
all their
Biden-
donors.
Hunter Biden,
Oh, yeah. Hunter Biden.
when they start investigating him, they don't need to just look at his tax returns. They need to release it to the public. 'Cause
Oh,
you
man,
know
he's
what?
guilty. He's already guilty among public opinion court.
But
What was it?
But the
I
thing
saw a
is if they can do it to any private citizen like Trump, they can do it to me. They can do it to you. They can do it to Hunter Biden.
Yeah. What was it? I saw a TikTok not that long ago. They were like, "Oh, you don't." They were talking about the Hunter Biden laptop on Twitter. They're like, "Oh, please don't put the Hunter Biden," because they're like, "Oh, my son." I said, I was like, I was watching. I was like, "There's not just naked pictures of Hunter Biden. There's naked pictures with Hunter Biden with minors. There's prostitutes."
Yep. There's him snorting coke.
Him snorting coke, all sorts of things. Plus, then you have all these emails, documents, and fucker synced his iPhone to his laptop. All that shit, all the iCloud shit is downloaded there.
Everybody that uses an iPhone syncs it to their laptop. That's the whole point of iCloud.
So
is that
it's not just Hunter Biden being naked that they didn't want to put on Twitter. They were going to expose not just Joe Biden. It wouldn't have been just Joe Biden that would have been exposed. I believe it would have been the Clinton Foundation that would have been exposed. I believe it would have been the Obamas that would have been exposed. That is the most disgusting thing about that laptop. It incriminates
everyone.
anybody you could probably think of that is associated with the Biden family.
Right.
And all. Oh shit! I forgot to put Zelensky coming to the Capitol. That was ugly.
That really was.
That was the most. I think that was the most inappropriate thing. A world leader comes and talks in the United States' house about asking for money. And we flew the Ukrainian flag right behind him. Pelosi and Kamala Harris. I wonder how much, like, how hard Zelensky had to fuck Pelosi to get to go into the House of Reps.
You know,
because he's like, well, I want this. Well, you need to.
You would have to drink so much just to get through that. Like, if they're like, you know what, we're going to shoot your whole family, or you fuck Nancy Pelosi, be like, fine, I'll fuck her, but somebody get me like 3 bottles of bourbon. Like, give me some of that moonshine that they're making on the TV show. I need something strong. Like, I don't want to be conscious for this.
Did I find? I'm trying to find his little spiel here. Oh, this is all right before Christmas. This is when he was begging the American people. My thing is that Trump got in trouble for talking to Zelensky in 2016. They impeached him for a phone call of why did the prosecutor get fired on Biden's word? That was it. That was the whole conversation. And Zelensky said he'd look into it. Next thing you know, that's when they fucking impeached him. But he talks about, oh, I can just pick up the phone call and talk to Biden whenever I want. And I'm like, that doesn't sound not like a quid pro quo that I don't know. Hold on.
No sound.
I know the fucking there. Now go.
In 2 days, we will celebrate Christmas. Maybe candlelit. Not because it's more romantic, no, but because there will not be
Can you
No,
move in there? It looks like you're trying to pick his nose.
millions won't have neither heating nor running water.
I mean he's got a giant
All of these
nose.
will be the result of Russian missile and drone attacks on our energy infrastructure. But we do not complain. We do not judge and compare whose life is easier. Your well-being is the product of your national security, the result of your struggle for independence and your many victories. We, Ukrainians, will also go through our war of independence and freedom with dignity and success.
I gotta ask, what fucking war of independence are they going through? Ukraine is already its own sovereign country.
Yeah.
It was once part of the Soviet Union, which Russia is trying to now absorb again.
Well,
They are
already did
not
that
part
with
of
the
NATO.
Baltics. They already did that with the Baltics.
Yeah. And
And
So-
Obama just kind of let that slide.
right. So it's I don't him being in the people's house, and it is the people's house because the House of Representatives is voted by the people. They are to represent each district of where you live. I think is one of the most disgusting things because when have we ever had a world leader in the people's house begging us for money?
I don't know. Now, was that was right before the spending bill passed, isn't it?
It was because the spending bill we'll get to here momentarily did give them fucking more money, but we couldn't pay our fucking National Guard people. Yeah, we'll get into that a little bit more. Let's sidetrack over to January 6th because I'm glad that fucking charade is over. That
Kangaroo court.
yes. And the thing is, they sent it off, but yet by the time everything got published, it's going to be the next Congress that's going to have to figure out what they want to do. So they omitted half of Trump's speech where he's talking about peacefully we fucking talked about this almost a year ago, a little under a year ago.
Yeah, they always omit that peaceful part, don't they?
Yes. I have the whole fucking thing.
But yeah, did you notice in the report they actually said that he neglected to send out a tweet that said to peacefully protest? Well,
that was the great thing about Twitter reinstating his account. His old fucking tweet was there.
Well, no, the thing is so what if he didn't tweet it out beforehand? He said it during the thing. Like, obviously, even if he did tweet it out, you wouldn't have cared.
Right?
It wouldn't have meant anything. So you can use it as ammunition against him, but won't use that if it helps his case.
So here's the video right before. This is what they did not include in the evidence that Trump quote didn't do.
Follow and
Wow.
engage with C-SPAN.
Fucking ad.
C-SPAN ad on that.
I know your pain. I know you're hurt. I know you're hurt. I know your pain. I know you're hurt. We had an election that was stolen from us. It was a landslide election, and everyone knows it, especially the other side. But you have to go home now. We have to have peace. We have to have law and order. We have to respect our great people in law and order. We don't want anybody hurt. It's a very tough period of time. There's never been a time like this where such a thing happened, where they could take it away from all of us, from me, from you, from our country. This was a fraudulent election, but we can't play into the hands of these people. We have to have peace. So go home. We love you. You're very special. You've seen what happens. You see the way others are treated that are so bad and so evil. I know how you feel, but go home and go home in peace.
So, okay, so that was after they were in there. That was a few hours after. During the speech, while I don't even think it was while it was going on, it was before, he actually told them to peacefully march down to the Capitol.
He was still on stage saying that when the protest started.
So, I mean, he did. They'd like to bring up the term. Oh well, he said fight like hell. Well, you know what? There's a lot of ways you can take fight like hell. But he did tell them to peacefully protest beforehand. Like go down to the Capitol and peacefully, something like peacefully make your voices heard or something like that. So let's get into where is it on here? Where they actually sent recommendations for charges over to the Department of Justice, which a recommendation for charges is basically a nothing. I mean, it's like saying, sending a memo from me to you saying, hey, you shouldn't wear that shirt anymore. I don't like it.
Yeah. So, let's see if I can find it. Fucking Liz Cheney, blah, 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 blah. Fuck you, Liz Cheney. Where are the charges? Oh, well, it's not on what I'm looking for here. That's awesome. Un momento. Gotta love this.
That hamster wheel you guys hear.
I know, man.
Is
Sorry.
Ryan thinking.
I know it, right? So there's 4 charges. If the New York Post has it. Trying to. All right. So the insurrection would render the former president be ineligible for a whole public office, which committee chair Liz Cheney would surely support.
But they
She
never
said
charged anyone with insurrection. So how can they?
they've
charge
never charged a single person that
Right.
has been arrested and charged with an insurrection act.
So how could they say he fomented insurrection if they haven't charged anyone with insurrection?
Correct. So the thing is I think all the evidence they have for the charges are fucking a stretch as it is. Why won't you?
Political stunt. What it is. So
Oh.
sending over these charges is a political stunt. So think of it this way. By sending over these charges, either he gets investigated, maybe goes to court on him or something, beats charges, runs for president. Now he's been in the news for the last 2 years, and it's gonna
All right.
rile
So
up their base.
first
If it-
charge is conspiracy to defraud the United States. In other words, the agreement to impair, defect, or defeat the lawful functions of the United States government and deceit or dishonest means of by Raskin. Trump did not engage in a plan to defraud the United States alone. Raskin alleged that he entered an into a formal and informal agreement with others who helped them with criminal objectives. The second one is conspiracy to make a false statement. The evidence clearly suggests that President Trump conspired with others to submit, slate, and fake electors to Congress and the National Archives. Raskin said that we believe that this evidence we will set forward in a report. Our report is more sufficient for a criminal referral for the former president of the United States and others connected with this offense. The summary says that Trump personally participated in the scheme to have the Trump electors meet, cast votes, and send their votes to Congress in states that Joe Biden had won, and that Trump supporters relied on fake electors in their attempt to obstruct a joint session of Congress. I want everyone to remember this because this is going to come back in a moment when we get to what's going to happen next month. The next one is aiding in an insurrection. The final statute applies to anyone who incites, insists, and enrages an insurrection against the United States of America, and anyone who gives aid or comfort to those who insurrected in an insurrection. An insurrection is a rebellion against the authority of the United States. Raskin said that if it is grave federal offense anchored in a constitution itself, which repeats opposes insurrection and domestic violence, and indeed uses participation in insurrection by its office holders as an automatic grounds for disqualification from ever holding public office again, federal or state level. The last time this was ever used was during the Civil War, mind you.
And it was for representatives. It wasn't for the president.
Correct. And then that was it. And yeah, that was all.
So
Oh, the obstruction of federal proceedings, of official proceedings of Congress. That was the other one. I fucking scrolled right past that one. That we believe that evidence described that the colleagues today and assembly throughout our hearings warrants that criminal referral for Donald Trump, John Eastman, and others violation of this statute. Raskin said that the whole purpose of the obvious effect of Trump's scheme were to obstruct, influence, and impede this official proceeding, the central moment for the lawful transfer of power in the United States. Yeah, sure. I mean, Raskin, you're
so. Some of the stuff that they talk about is they mention how many weapons, they found people with knives, with clubs, with screwdrivers, with notice no firearm.
Yeah.
They found people with pepper spray, with body armor. If there was actually an organized insurrection, don't you think they would have been more organized and not gone with a screwdriver?
Right.
Or like, what do they count? Like, okay, I carry around this multi-tool. everywhere I go. This multi-tool right here flips open. Guess what? In it, it has a knife and it has a screwdriver. So it doesn't actually say how many like were just like everyday carry, like multi-tools or something like that. Um, so I mean, they're everything that with this that they have on this is a stretch. It's uh everything. You know, and for some reason they, you know, it's like a Russia gate all over again. We've got the smoking gun. There is no smoking gun. There's there's nothing there's nothing that ties him to the actions of the people that day. You know, yeah, you can say that you know, by the um the election was fraudulent and stuff like that, might have riled people up, but if you're going to say something like that about him, then everyone that there can be charged with 2020. You know, you have the vice president right now who during 2020 was bailing people out of jail, bailing rioters out of jail. So are they going to be held accountable then based on their own standards, that their own litmus test?
That's not, man. That's the thing. Like, okay, so if we're gonna talk about that, so that'd be what Black Lives Matter did with their funds. Well, technically, no, they just stole money, and then there was a what the Minneapolis where they were bailing people out. They bailed out a murderer who went out and then killed somebody again
Yes.
right after being bailed out of jail from the riots. So
They called Kenosha a mostly peaceful protest.
while it was burning, mind you,
Right.
behind them, it was burning.
So I mean,
Um,
all of this, and then you have, uh, you know, who was it? Senators being attacked for um. Oh, why can't I remember her name? The girl that was shot by the cops uh, when they went to do a no-knock warrant.
that was the uh, her last name was Taylor. And it was in Kentucky. Um,
Rihanna.
Breonna Taylor. There it
Breonna
is.
Taylor. Yes. So, you know, we actually had senators being attacked by protesters about Breonna Taylor that were fomented by liberal other liberal senators and congressmen. Are they going to be held accountable for what they did? I mean, they're making this a very, if you're going to say anything that is said in public because some group of people might take it too far, or you know, you say something and there's violence from other people, unless you're calling for violence, you're setting a pretty low standard there that just about every one of them can be tried on.
Yeah, no, you're not wrong. So I being all right. So the January 6th committee is going to be abolished literally in a few weeks. Their recommendations were sent over to the Supreme Court. Supreme Court can look at them and throw them away for all. Um, so that means who fucking knows? It probably won't. It probably most likely won't go anywhere.
Now,
Um,
there is another side to this. This comes from the Washington Post, that the Republicans actually put out a report also about Nancy Pelosi's role in the January 6th attack.
Absolutely. God, let me pull that up because I fucking called this a year ago also. Because she's a cunt. Where was it? Oh, I know I had it.
So
here.
what they said is that Republicans have hit back with a counter investigation appropriating blame for the internal security breakdown on January 6th to Pelosi and a dysfunctional Capitol Police Intelligence Division. Quote, leadership and law enforcement failures within the U.S. Capitol left the complex vulnerable on January 6th, says the report, which is based on a trove of text and email messages and testimony from Capitol Police and rank and file officers. House Sergeant of Arms Paul Irving, who answered to Pelosi as one of the 3 voting members of the Capitol Police Board, succumbed to political pressures from the office of the Speaker Pelosi and House Democrat leadership. He was compromised by politics and did not adequately prepare for violence at the Capitol. In an apparent attempt to hide from the Republicans the fact that they were being excluded from discussion, Irvin asked a senior Democrat staffer to act surprised when he sent, quote, key information about plans for the joint session on January 6, 2021 to him and his Republican counterparts. The staff replied sardonically, I'm startled. The report also claims that staff within the House Sergeant of Arms office emailed Paul Irving that January 6th was Pelosi's fault, although it provides no evidence. The Republicans responsible for writing the report is Jim Banks, Republican Indiana, Jim Jordan, Republican Ohio, Rodney Davis, Kelly Armstrong, and Troy Nels.
We all forget though that the Sergeant of Arms quit shortly after this fucking mess.
Yeah, immediately.
So
if he was still Sergeant of Arms at the time, he could have been subpoenaed really easily. Otherwise, they have to subpoena a private citizen and not somebody that works, just like Fauci is retiring at the end of the year, which is in a few days, before he can get subpoenaed as a government official.
Yes.
So basically what it shows is Pelosi knew about it, and for political reasons, she told them not to prepare.
She did it because she didn't want the look of the military in front of the Capitol.
Right.
She didn't want the view to be askewed. Like, oh. And the thing is, Trump offered
National Guard
to release them.
Yep.
And they said no. So tell me how Nancy Pelosi and her drunken wisdom is not at fault for this bullshit?
Well, right down to them covering their asses afterwards and telling, hey, act surprised when this happens. Like, we didn't know January 6th wasn't secure. We didn't know the Capitol wasn't secure.
So now that we've gotten all through January 6th of 2021, there is a Supreme Court case coming up on January 6th, 2023. It actually bypassed the 10th Circuit Court because the Supreme Court wanted this case because it is a violation of Constitution law.
I'm trying to pull up that docket and it's coming up blank for me.
Oh, I have the document.
Okay.
Let me pull it back up.
You're going to have to read it or show it on the screen.
Yep, I'm going to put it up. We're going to have a nice little conversation of this conversation. So this is, if you go to supremecourt.gov and you look up the docket, This is a real document, so YouTube can't say I'm making shit up. This is Roland J. Brunson, petitioner versus Alma S. Adams
And others at all.
and others. So, make sure this is the full. Nope, that's not the full document. The petition. Here we go. The original petition. So, getting into this, we're gonna go real quick. We're gonna talk about the Electoral College laws, just so we can get that instilled in everybody. So, the procedure of how the Electoral College works. Each state sends their votes in. Electoral colleges send their requests to the Senate for them to be read in December. The objection part is the key process of this. So since 1887, want to instill, it's been over 200 years.
No, 1887, 100 years.
100 years. Sorry. 100 plus years. 100 some years. Yes.
130 some.
Sure. Been many years. How about that? During the joint sessions of lawmakers, each individual has the ability to challenge an electoral vote from the Electoral College as long as the recommendation is signed by not a representative of the House, but also a representative of the Senate. And then when that happens, everybody goes to their separate wings. They have their discussions and they come back and they come to an agreement. The reason why I'm saying this is because we have said this before of how the the voting happened on January 6th. After the riot, everything went rushed and no objections were ever fucking heard.
Right.
They did that on purpose. Someone with a constitutional law background caught it and submitted a petition for the Supreme Court to hear it. Because it is very important that we follow the constitutional republic laws that our founding fathers have set forward.
So, just to let you know, in that big omnibus bill that we're going to talk about, they did change this for the 2024 election.
Depending on how this court case goes. So the court case that's in question is this one. A lot of fucking jargon here. Basically, our sitting government is currently unfit to hold federal seating because they can't follow the fucking rules. In short versions, because there is like 30 some plus pages of this court proceeding. But the parties to be proceeding, the following 388 respondents are to be a party to this action as defendants in the trial. Named persons, like they fucking named everybody.
They name everyone. Liz
Everyone
in there.
It's in the House of Rep. The current president and vice president of the United States, the former vice president of the United States, the House Speaker, current House Speaker, and current Minority Leader and major House or Senate Majority Leader Schumer and McConnell.
You got John Moulander there, Moulander, or however you say his name.
Lynch. But if you notice, Adam Schiff, I hope, can't stand that man.
Yep, Adam Schiff right there. It's like 5 pages of names.
80% of this is all the Democrats. 100%. The Democratic side of our house. And then some of our Republican side. Because like I said, I will hold both sides accountable. I am a conservative. I will go by how our Constitution is written, what is best for our country. I'm not worried about Ukraine. I'm not worried about Africa. I'm not worried about England, France. I care 2 shits about what's going on. Does it affect us? Don't give a shit. And so basically, that is it. Literally even spells out in here that they were going to go to the 10th Circuit. And then it got word to the Supreme Court. And Supreme Court basically told them how to bypass the 10th Circuit to get it to their calendar. Because they wanted to get this in before anything else.
Mm-hmm.
Simply because January 6th and how everything went was unprecedented. How the 2020 election was one of the weirdest, unprecedented elections we've ever had. This ultimately will throw a goddamn monkey wrench in our country's government. I mean, I'm thinking like Donkey Kong swinging around fucking the House of Representatives and knocking everybody the fuck out of the building.
Yeah, that's going to be the big one. Is so there's going to be two parts to this.
Because they question.
One is, did they or didn't they break the Constitution in how they handled certifying the election? Then there's going to be another one. What is going to be the damages of it?
Yeah. So here's page 2 of the 30 some odd page, not a 4,000 page document. It's a 30-page document. So it starts with the 14th Amendment of the Constitution. Nor shall any state deprive any person liberty and the prosperity without due process of law, deny any person without jurisdiction and equal protection of the laws. No person shall be a senator or representative of Congress or elected president or vice president or hold any office in military under the United States, and any who, having previously taken an oath, member of Congress, as an officer of the United States, or as a member of any state legislature or executive or judicial officer of the state, support the Constitution of the United States, shall have engaged in insurrection or rebellion against the same, given aid, comfort, and enemies therefore, but Congress may, by a vote of 2/3 of House, to remove such disability.
Right.
So this is the same Constitution amendment they are using against former President Trump.
Yep.
Which is now being used against 90% of Congress and the current president, vice president of the United States, Biden and Harris. Under the Fifth Amendment Constitution, no person shall deprive life, liberty, or property without due process of law. Ninth Amendment Constitution of the United States, the numerous in the Constitution of certain rights shall not be construed or denied or disparaged others retained by the people.
Basically, what that means is you can't make a law that goes against the rights of the people.
Yep. I mean, you have the Constitution parts of Utah. So basically, the statement of the case. This action is against 388 federal officers in their official capacities, which include President Joseph Robinette Biden Jr., Vice President Kamala Harris, Speaker of the House Nancy Pelosi, and former Vice President Michael Richard Pence. All the respondents have taken the required oath to support and defend the Constitution of the United States of America against all enemies, foreign and domestic, and as such, they are liable for the consequences when they violate the oath of office. So basically, they're saying, hey, what you did in the House, yes, the insurrection, or I'm going to call it a fucking riot because that's what it was.
It was
The
a riot.
riot on the House was absolutely distasteful. No one should have gone in. So before anybody thinks that, no. Did they hurt anybody? Absolutely not. Were they supposed to be in there? No. Do I believe the FBI was involved? Absolutely. So that's where we're getting at. So they are using what happened on January 6th purposely. So on January 6th, the 117th Congress held a proceeding and debate in DC. This proceeding purpose was to count votes under the 2020 presidential election for the president and vice president of the United States under Amendment 12. Claimed during this proceeding, over 100 members of U.S. Congress claimed factual evidence that said election was rigged, and the refusal of the respondents to investigate congressional claims, the enemy, is an act of treason and fraud by the respondents. A successful rigged election has the same result as an act of war. Placed into power whom victor wants, which in this case Biden, who, if not stopped immediately, will continue to destroy the fundamental freedoms of the Bronson and all U.S. citizens and courts of law. So basically what they are getting at, because the fact that there were a large handful of House reps and House Senate members that signed letters of objection, and they never actually talked about it like they're supposed to. Therefore, the House and Senate broke constitutional law, and they are all to be held accountable for their actions.
Yeah.
This is one of the most creative things I could have ever thought of, other than us just bitching about it.
We're good at bitching about it, though.
Bitching. I mean, I voted. I'm allowed to bitch. When you
Right.
vote, you claim the right to bitch.
Right.
That's what I've always been told. If you voted, you have the right to bitch. You have the First Amendment right to bitch. And that's what we are exercising, our First Amendment rights. Whether YouTube likes it or not, I don't know. We're live on YouTube and we're live on Twitch. So please come check us out. I haven't looked at the chat if anyone's actually even there. But here or there, that's fine. Please, they're not talking about it. That's the weird thing. Nobody is talking about this Supreme Court hearing, and it's weeks away.
Like a week and a half away. Oh no. Yeah. Week and a half.
Friday.
A week
from Friday. A week from Friday. So it is the first case of the year. That will be the most
But the thing is we won't know the outcome until June or July.
no, I actually think they're going to rush that one, being the fact that the longer the 388 people are in their seats, the more the more they're going to have to work to get everything undone. So I figure they're probably trying to get that in and out, especially since
this, and just think some of the devil's advocate arguments against this. Say they do like okay, so say we do say that I'm one of the justices on the liberal side. So say we do say that this is unconstitutional. What would that mean for all of the bills that were passed in the last 2 years? Would we have to undo that? We can't open that can of worms.
that
Does
is
that mean
the
everything that they voted on was unconstitutional, and therefore everything like that would put the U.S. into turmoil?
it would. Yeah, we're at a spot in the matrix. I think we're not, because this has never happened. No one's ever challenged an election. No one's ever done this. But the thing is, more people are awake now. I mean, when I say awake, I mean like they're actually seeing what's going on. They're not just going with the fucking flow of the Democratic Party. As he's dying by a shark there.
It's a dragon.
Oh, dragon. So what I'm getting at is I think that I just think it's there. They said in there one of the things to fix is to put the correct person that would have won the 2020 election, and they are under the impression that Trump won the election, which is a possibility if that happens. So then it would come down to Trump to undo whatever he feels is necessary if he is
wouldn't
placed.
even be just him, it would be all of them, which means that everything that they did for the last 2 years, good and bad, although I can't think of too many good, would every bill that they passed, every spending, everything would have to be basically recalled.
I mean, this is open charted waters here. So again, this is all speculation. This is all just kind of fucking thinking of like what could happen. What if nothing changes? So say as an if it does go through and everybody is removed. They revert back to the former president now as president to serve his last 2 years, plus he gets to run again for his final 4. Because the president can only legally serve 10 years. So that would be the only way it would work. So he would be able to go through. He probably wouldn't be able to recall a lot of the spending bills, but I bet he'll be able to revoke a lot of the executive orders that
that he can do. I mean,
he
Biden did
can
that in
undo
1
all
day.
the executive orders.
Yeah.
But I think all the stuff that has been voted on in the House and Senate and passed, I think unfortunately is stuck. Because that will go through litigation. I think it would be more just leave it alone and just
Let the courts
modify
decide.
shit.
Yeah, let the courts decide.
Let the courts figure that out. But he could go through and fucking try to turn the tide. Get our refineries back up. Get oil production back going. Get the tax cuts back in place. Whatever he wants to do. And truly make the United States the superpower it should be.
Right.
Because we are technically becoming a superpower no more.
Right. We are. And we're losing.
We're about to go into a world war. I see this happening. And we don't have enough military. Like the army already announced that they were 15,000 short this year from recruiting. That means the Service Member Act is going to go into effect.
Yep.
That means the fucking draft is coming back. We haven't seen a draft since Korea and Vietnam. Vietnam.
But our
Could you
lifetime, we
see
haven't
these?
seen it.
Huh?
But in our lifetime, we haven't seen
Oh,
it.
no. We have never seen one in our lifetime. No.
Right.
Absolutely.
Unfortunately, our kids might.
And all. Our goal is to try to hopefully turn the tide to where our kids have a country that's respectable again, that people want to be here, get our immigration in order,
How does that meme go? Hard times create tough men create easy times create soft men create hard times. We're in that. After the soft men, we're into the hard times right now.
absolutely. It's definitely
It's that cycle.
the bad thing is we haven't been on this cycle yet, and we're getting there, and that's
Well, I think
it's
the
going to take
cycle is generational, though.
Yeah. And the thing is, I think we're going to get in. It's the world war is what's going to fucking cause a lot of this to fucking turn around.
Because
And all.
the last time we had hard men was probably our grandparents. Not saying my parents are soft, but our grandparents were hard on our parents. Our parents made life easy on us comparatively because there was no World War. There was no Vietnam. We had the first Desert Storm, which lasted all of 6 days. And then we had Afghanistan and, stuff like that. But
the thing is, what happened with Afghanistan and 9/11 is the first time since Pearl Harbor, the United States has been attacked on home soil. But the thing is,
we did that because we were soft.
Correct. The thing is that the United States came together on 9/12 more together than the country has ever been. I mean, people were getting along with California. That's how that's how nice we were becoming. And New York, because everyone was in ready for New York, because New York is what got hit. Who would have fucking thought that someone would have taken airlines and crashed them into Twin Towers?
And think about this. Rudy Giuliani was the governor at the time. Could you imagine if there was or mayor at the time?
He was at the mayor.
Yeah. Could you imagine if we had a different mayor in New York at that time? Thankfully, we had a Republican like Giuliani that was tough. And
Giuliani, I think, was the last Republican mayor.
He was.
For
New
New
York. He was
York.
also the first Republican mayor in a lot of years.
Yeah. He was the first and last. So, I mean, this next month is going to be is going to be crucial because it'll be the tipping point of the United States, whether we keep going down the road we are or the monkey wrench gets thrown in the cog of the machine and it falls apart. Because that's what's going to happen. If in my prediction of it, if it goes through, because you have to remember, we have a primarily conservative Republican majority of the Supreme Court.
5-4. I'm not counting. Yeah.
Whatever. But the thing is that if they go through and they read all the evidence and they debate and they deem this case as constitutional as it is, and that the federal government broke constitutional law, it will send the United States into a spiral. But it won't be in a spiral long because I hate to say it, at least when Trump regains office, if he regains office. Remember, everybody, this is all if. If he regains office. And this is why I hate these rabbit holes. Because it always takes one slight of truth to fucking throw me down a rabbit hole. It will be different times in the United States.
Yeah. Well, and all of us conspiracy theorists would have been proved right again. Again.
Damn it. I'm tired of being right. Tired of it. Tired of being right. All right. So
All right, let's get to the spending bill because we're coming up past the hour.
oh yeah. So spending bill coming up. All right. So right before Christmas,
Like
they decided
literally
to
the day before. No, Friday. 2 days before.
yeah,
Christmas.
2 days before Christmas, because everybody wanted to go home for Christmas and didn't want to
Friday
debate
night.
on a
What's
4,000.
Twas 2 nights before Christmas, and all through the House. Not a
Nancy
Democrat-
Pelosi dropped off a bill that said, "Go
4,000
fuck
pages.
yourself."
Yeah, 4,000 page bill. That was a spending measure that was pretty much along party lines, 225 to 201 in the House.
I have to wonder what they have on some of the Republicans that voted yes
Well,
for
like,
this.
They had Liz Cheney, Adam Kinzinger, who's in Illinois, so I don't know if you count him as a Republican. Then you have retiring representatives, John Katko, Chris Jacobs of New York, Rodney Davis of Illinois, Fred Upton of Michigan, Jamie Herrera Butler of Washington. Those are all retiring, so they don't even have to like answer.
Yeah, they don't have to fuck give a shit.
Brian Pennsylvania and Steve Womack of Arkansas were the only two lawmakers that are being reelected. So only 2 Republicans out of 9 are not out of there.
So go to Fox News they were talking about the spending. Oh, maybe if I fucking hit the sound button on there too, that'd be great. All right. Maybe I should have waited till after I hit the ad.
Yeah.
Republicans appear to be united in their opposition to the omnibus bill. So the big question is, what will Senate Republicans do? This package contains billions in pork and woke handouts, provides border security for Middle Eastern countries, but doesn't guarantee much for our own, and emboldens Biden's bureaucrats, all while undermining American prosperity. And it's all happening just weeks from when a new House majority will take power. Here with more, House Minority Whip Steve Scalise. Whip Scalise, I had the honor and privilege of serving with you in the House. I've been down this path with you before because it's Nancy Pelosi's policy. Basically, take it up till December 23rd. Everybody wants to get home. It's Christmas. There's bad weather. What can House Republicans do at this point other than hope that the Senate, stalls this bill? What's the plan?
Well, Jason, we're fighting it. We're whipping against this bill, but we're also exposing just how many bad things are in this bill. And I think that's where the country is getting engaged. And, you just mentioned through Chad Pergram that Mike Lee is going to attempt an amendment to try to reverse what the administration's doing, letting Title 42 expire. I hope Mike Lee's successful, but there's absolutely nothing in this bill for border security. Hundreds of billions of dollars. Nobody can tell you what's in it. It was just filed, and they're going to vote on it in dark of night. It would be ironic, but appropriate that they would try to vote on it at 3 a.m. This is a bad bill for taxpayers, but we've got to change the way that business is done in Washington. It's what we ran on. We won the House majority on that, but you see them running this thing through by dark of night with billions in things that They're doing border security in foreign countries, and they're impeding border security in our country. Everything about this is the wrong way to go. I hope they reverse course.
Now, Mitch McConnell said there were two choices.
So speaking about border security in our country, remember what was it last week? We talked about the walls, the trailers that were up in Arizona,
Yeah, and
right? So the Biden administration sued the state of Arizona to remove those.
of course they did.
So they're actually removing all the. So now Arizona is completely wide open for illegal immigrants just to walk over.
Right.
Fucking dumb shit.
But isn't there actually a third choice? I mean, aren't the House Republicans encouraging to say, why don't we just do a continuing resolution, come back after the new year and continue to address this? And don't do it the week of Christmas.
That's exactly right. It's a third option that would at least keep things going, but not have all of this pork, all of this new spending that nobody can explain. Nobody can tell you what is in it, because they were just throwing things in. It was like a Christmas tree being thrown together and lit up right at the end of Christmas. And it's a lot of coal. It's not a lot of gifts right now.
So, I mean, it's already passed. So the
I
1.7.
mean, yeah, it's already passed. Basically, he's right. They threw in shopping the nuts, and I'm literally running through the store, not actually shopping, going, I want this and this and this. Let's throw it all together. They'll love it.
Right. All right.
And then
So
they open it up and go, why did you get me a pack of girl socks?
you do in that bill, fucking they were giving up a building to Nancy Pelosi like for $400 million to have a federal building named after her. I said, because I talked about on the Shipper show. I said, no, they were going to give her a federal building. I said they should give her a liquor store. The Nancy Pelosi boozathon. That's about it. That's about how I feel it should have gone
It would be a
through.
combination liquor store Botox.
Sure. So the 4,155 page budget contains measures to help Ukraine, bolsters U.S. defense, and funds U.S. domestic priorities. Okay, whatever the fuck that means. So
Essentially, we're sending another $45 billion to Ukraine.
Yep.
Check your mic.
Yep, there we go. There we go. Bumped the back of the cable and it got loose. So yeah, so 445 billion to Ukraine, 38 billion for recovering natural disasters. Changes retirement programs for healthcare for low-income Americans are also in legislation.
It adds
45. So the electoral.
This is the one I was talking about. In there is the Electoral Count Act reform. Included in the spending package are changes to the Electoral Count Act in response to the January 6th Capitol riots. It would clarify the role of the U.S. Vice President in tallying and certifying the Electoral College votes, basically making him just a figurehead, no power. And I don't think it says it here on the BBC one, but what it also does is, in order to challenge, it's no longer a one senator, one representative. It's one senator and a third of the representatives.
Yeah. And it doesn't allow the vice president. The vice president, right currently, till this went through, had the power to say no.
Right.
That because he is the president. The vice president of the United States is the president of the Senate. He is the figurehead of the House and Senate when he is in the building. He is the highest chain of command.
Yep. It also restricts TikTok on government devices. So they can't download and watch TikTok on their.
So no more AOC.
Right. It gets rid of COVID era provisions to Medicaid that relax the eligibility. In there, they have a nursing mothers dubbed the Pump Act. See, this is the thing. These should all be separate acts. That's what I hate about these omnibus bills is they throw everything in there, all these acts The acts don't like whatever it says. You almost saying know that it's something different, but called the Pump Act was included in the bill. It expands legislation that extends protection for new parents who need to breastfeed their babies or pump at work. A provision in the package delays by 6 years new rules for fisheries aimed at protecting the endangered right whale from becoming endangered in fishing gear.
Entangled in fishing gear.
Entangled it, sorry. From becoming entangled. Let's see. Pay raise for our troops, 4.6.
I will give you that. Our troops
That should
deserve
be
more
in a
money.
spending bill.
That is supposed to be in a spending bill. Capitol
Um,
Police support. The Congressional Police Services will get a boost of 132 million, bringing its total budget to 734.5 million dollars. What?
Okay, explain to me the Pell Grant one. So
So
the-
so the Pell Grant is Pell Grant is actually done by the federal government. You apply through federal student aid when you go to school. So you always do your grants before you apply for loans based on your income. So you'll put in like, oh, I make this much based on my taxes. And then the federal government so you cap out. This is how much you can get the full Pell Grant. So they're maximizing the Pell Grants. So they're adding more money to it for people to take out for grants
so
instead of taking out loans
$7,395. Is that per year or per semester?
per semester.
So 14,000 a year.
Yep.
Okay.
So yeah, you'll get you'll get a grant per semester. As long as nothing changes, because you have to reapply for loans every year, every semester.
Well, I think when I did it, it was every year right before the fall semester.
Yeah, but sometimes some schools you'll do one in the fall and one in the spring. So depends on the school you go to.
The Environmental Protection Agency gets $575 million increase. $576 million increase. Because we need more EPA.
Yeah, and there's a bunch of other fluff in that bill that should have never been in there in the first place.
I'm amazed they didn't put something about taking our ARs like Whoopi Goldberg wants in there. Or maybe it is in there and we just haven't found it yet. That's a lot of pages to go through.
4,000 some pages. Who the fuck wants to read all that? I can tell you right now. I mean, I've read a lot of books, but
Have you ever read a 4,000 page book?
I think my ADD will kick in and I'd fucking like walk off.
See, that's why I can't stand reading. Like I'll read like short like articles and stuff like that.
I moved from
books because my ADHD kicks in, and after like a couple pages, then I start just blankly staring at the pages.
See, that's why I moved from reading books. I went to Audible. So I listen.
I do Audible. I can do Audible.
I love Audible.
Yep.
So I mean, Audible.
I don't mind
works.
somebody else reading to me because, like I say, when I read, then my mind starts imagining everything in the world that I'm reading and stuff, and then I forget where I'm at and I don't want to read anymore. But if I'm listening to somebody, I can still imagine it, but they keep going, so I just keep up with them like a TV show.
I like doing it when I mow the grass. I'll put my headphones in and I'll go mow the grass and I'll listen. I'll fucking finish almost a whole book, and I'll be like, "Oh damn, that was quick." But yeah, that was Passion the Dead of Night. So another $1.7 trillion added to the national debt. So if you think he's fucking saving us money, he's faster than he's saving it. So
well, they
yes. And then more Twitter.
Oh, you know what? I mentioned Whoopi Goldberg.
You did mention.
Can you bring up that clip of her that
Sure can. Give me a second.
So Whoopi last year basically defended Hitler and the Nazis by saying they weren't racist. Because
So
in
here's
her
the original.
view- Oh, go ahead. Play
I'll
it.
do the original clip, and then if it will stop playing when I'm trying to get switched over here. God damn it. And it's your best friend.
Benny.
Let's hear Whoopi Goldberg explain why everyone in the world is racist except for Hitler, apparently.
The Holocaust isn't about race.
No.
No, it's not about
maybe
race.
ethnicity. Well, they
No,
consider
it's
Jews
about
a different race.
But it's not about race. It's not about
Well,
race.
what is it about?
Because it's about man's inhumanity to man. That's what it's about.
But it's about white supremacy. It's
Well,
about
but
going
it's
after
not- it's
Jews
not about
and
ideal
race.
But these are two
Roma.
white groups of people.
Well, they
How do
also
we
have the black
but
people
how-
too.
as white.
And they
But you're missing the point. You're missing the point.
Yeah.
The minute you turn it into race, it goes down this alley. Let's talk about it for what it is. It's how people treat each other.
It's about how people treat each other. It's not about race. There's a direct quote from Hitler in Mein Kampf, quote, "Is not their very existence founded on one great lie, namely that they are a religious community, whereas in reality, they are a race." Whoopi Goldberg gets hit with a wave of "you're an idiot" tweets, and then she quasi backs down. So what she does is she cites Jonathan Greenblatt from the Anti-Defamation League. Okay, she puts out a statement and says, quote, "On today's show, I said the Holocaust is not about race, but about man's inhumanity to man. I should have said it is about both. As Jonathan Greenblatt from the Anti-Defamation League shared, the Holocaust was about the Nazis' systematic annihilation of the Jewish people who they deemed to be an inferior race. I stand corrected. The Jewish people around the world have always had my support, and that will never waver. I'm sorry for the hurt I have caused. Written with my sincerest apologies, Whoopi Goldberg."
Okay, so there's that. That was the
By that same logic of hers, that it's about man's inhumanity to another man, you could say the same thing about slavery. Like every argument that she made could be changed from Jewish to slaves, to African slaves. It wasn't about race. It was just that we wanted slaves. Yeah.
So they did a recent interview. They didn't post. I couldn't find where they actually posted the actual interview where she doubled down, but there's an article from Disney. I'll put that up here in a second.
The Holocaust isn't about race.
Host Whoopi Goldberg is again facing some backlash following a recent interview with the Sunday Times of London. In that interview, Goldberg said not about race or physical attributes, saying, quote, "They were killing people they considered to be mentally defective, and then they made this decision," end quote.
It's bad enough.
Yeah. So Whoopi.
She decided to fucking go double down. So Disney owns ABC.
Disney owns
So
everything.
Disney's ABC is now under pressure to fire Whoopi after she defends saying the Holocaust wasn't racially motivated.
Now, don't forget, last year when she said this, they quote unquote suspended her for 6 days. She had a 6-day vacation.
Yes. And
Anybody else, anyone on the right says anything close to that, they're done. Like they wouldn't have like made it off the stage. It would have been ran out. But Whoopi Goldberg gets that now. I'm anxious to see if Disney's actually gonna do anything because I mean,
well, they got a new CEO, so we'll fucking see what happens. So on Twitter, Goldberg doubles down on her vile remarks that the Holocaust was not about race. It was instead white on white violence. Again, it was so about race because, again, before the concentration camps, Adolf Hitler had all Jews wear a patch that had the Star of David on it. And it was community versus community. It is how it is becoming with COVID. It is a very terrible comparison, but it's just in the beginning stances where they wore the Star of David to be singled out by other members of their community. They couldn't run them out verbally. So Hitler decided to say we're superior and we're going to kill you all. That is why the Nazi Party is no longer. We fucking went in and wanted to just murder them all because that is not the
It's the
way to
essence
be.
of evil.
That is true. That is the evil of its truest form right there.
Right.
You know, so her double downing on it. The one time I could care less about anybody getting canceled for anything because I believe everybody has a right to say whatever they feel. That nonsense. She is walking a fine line, hand holding Kanye West.
Yeah. All right.
Kanye West, he's fucking in La La Land somewhere.
He's so out there. Well, he's admitted to being bipolar and not liking his meds. So,
And then the meds that they were putting him on, they were overdosing him purposely. And all night, I've been there where your trusted confidant decides to take what you're given, having it upped personally, getting it up to numb you. That is never fun. But that is nonsense. Fucking absolute nonsense and disgusting.
yeah.
And so, and then I guess we'll talk about your topic of tonight of the justices bringing up Ashley Madison in a court case.
Bring up this. So the Supreme Court mentions Ashley Madison. So you know what Ashley Madison is, the website?
Yep.
So for those that don't remember, Ashley Madison is the cheating website. So there's been scandals from a lot of like church people and
politicians. There's a lot of people on it.
I think the guy from the Duggars or whatever it is.
Duggars, yeah.
Duggars, you know, there was a lot where it was a website where like, you know, a dating website, but where the guys went on with the explicit knowledge that the women knew that they were cheating on their wives. You know, that was the whole point of it is you can.
That's exactly what that was supposed to be for. It was
right.
Consensual cheating.
Yeah, exactly. So listen to this. This comes from at Scottis blog on TikTok.
Did a Supreme Court justice reference AshleyMadison.com during oral argument today? Yes. Yes, he did. But we'll get to that in a minute. This is a designer in Colorado who does not want to make custom wedding websites for same-sex couples. This is her. Her name is Lori Smith. Colorado has a law that says businesses open to the public cannot discriminate on the basis of religion. Smith says that violates her right to free speech, specifically her right not to build custom wedding websites for same-sex couples. Today's oral argument lasted over 2 hours with lots of hypotheticals from the justices. Justice Sotomayor asked if Smith were to win, could she also refuse to design wedding websites for disabled couples if she had a sincerely held belief that people with disabilities should not get married? That's because the same law that covers sexual orientation discrimination also prohibits discrimination on the basis of having a disability. Now, Justice Jackson asked about the implications for race discrimination. For example, could one of those holiday photographers at the mall say, hey, I want to take old-timey Christmas photos this year with vibes like the holiday classic movie, It's a Wonderful Life. So no pictures of Black children sitting on Santa's lap because that doesn't fit with the artistic message the photographer's trying to send. Justice Alito tried to draw a line between opposition to same-sex couples and opposition to interracial couples. Alito cited Justice Kennedy's opinion in Obergefell, saying honorable people disagree about same-sex marriage, but the same can't be said for disagreeing about interracial marriage. He's also the culprit behind the Ashley Madison reference, and here it is. like Justice Jackson, he was comparing the work of a wedding website designer to that of a photographer. He says, what if a single Jewish person asks a Jewish photographer to take his picture so we can use it in his JDate profile? That's a Jewish dating service, I gather, he says. Kagan says, it is. There was a lot of laughter. And then he says, maybe Justice Kagan will know the next website I'm about to reference. And he changes the hypothetical and he said, what if the guy asked the photographer to take his picture not for a JDate profile, but for a profile on ashleymadison.com? The photographer have to do it even if he disagrees with the message that Ashley Madison sends? Justice Barrett asked, well, if the government wins, then would an LGBTQ publication whose entire reason for existence is to celebrate and promote same-sex marriage have to feature heterosexual couples if they were asked? After oral argument, it looks like a majority of the court's conservative justices are sympathetic to the website designer's cause here. Again, this case will clarify whether business owners who are engaged in expressive activity like website design will be able to get an exemption from laws protecting civil rights. We'll get a decision by the end of the term, likely by the end of June.
First off, I don't like the whole expressive activity, because then, okay, building a website. I'm Christian. If I started building websites again, and somebody says, hey, I want you to build this atheist website or build a Church of Satan website for me. It's not that I'm discriminating against them based on their color, based on, I guess based on their religious beliefs, because it conflicts with my religious beliefs. I think we went through this with the cake shop owner. If the cake shop owner was specifically told ahead of time, we want you to make this cake for our gay wedding. And they said, no, I'm not going to bake you a specific cake for your cake wedding. Here's a bunch of cakes. You can take one. No, we want you to bake us one. Like that was the whole issue. And, they were found not to violate because First Amendment also. The thing is with all of this, they're talking about expressive, building a website, making a painting, taking photography. What about a cook? What if they said, hey, I won't cater a gay wedding? Wouldn't a cook, isn't that an art form also? Or a builder saying, hey, I won't build this Church of Satan. Because isn't that also an art form? The thing is the left is trying to make the whole gay couple thing equivalent to a disability or skin color, because they have no arguments when it comes to morals. Again, I'm a Christian. I think that homosexuality is a sin. Does that mean I don't have homosexual friends? No, one of my best friends is gay. I love him. He's a great guy. Does it mean that he sins? Yeah. Does it mean that anybody that uses Ashley Madison is sinning? Yes. We all sin. But it doesn't mean I'm going to help you create a profile, Ryan, on Ashley Madison.
No.
That goes against my morals. I wouldn't help somebody that's a heroin addict buy heroin. It's against my morals. So that's what I think this comes down to. And I think that's where the Ashley Madison thing comes up too, is he kind of set a good trap there for Kagan. Would you put this on, I don't remember what he called it, a Jewish dating website? And she said, yeah, it's a Jewish dating website, right. Nothing wrong with that. So you're saying, so he kind of set it up to make her think that he was going to say, hey, I'm Christian, I'm not going to let Jews date. But instead, he goes, okay, now let's make it about adultery. Would you feel the exact same way? And really, that's what it comes down to. It comes down to, do you agree with the acts of the person, not the unchanging physicality of the person. Like, are you missing fingers, or is your skin color darker than mine, or something like that? That I can see not discriminating against. But we discriminate against people that we don't agree with all the time. And a business owner should not be forced to provide a service to somebody whose actions they do not agree with.
No, I completely understand. I mean, it's meant to be First Amendment. I believe you should be able to do how you want to be. Period. If you don't want to make a cake for them, then you don't have to make cake for them. That you have the right. You have the right to refuse service, regardless. You shouldn't even have to give a reason. I'm sorry. I'm using my right to refuse service at this time. So it's neither here nor there. You should have just let it go. But if they wanted to bring this up, fine, bring it up.
Right. This is one I'm going to be watching because I think this is going to have other implications, such as forcing a church to perform gay weddings and stuff like that.
I mean,
so
I'm not moving to Colorado anytime soon. So
no. All right, let me load up some videos. We'll watch some videos.
Let's go make some fun of some people.
Yeah. Let me.
Especially with the this Christmas season, God knows what happened.
Let's see here. I just want to load, so it'll take me a minute here. Oh, here. Come here, you. Drag. Why is it not dragging? Oh, for Christmas, my son was so excited. We got him a gaming keyboard and mouse.
Nice.
So I think he liked that more than anything else we got him because he can't stop talking about how much he loves it. He's like, I can move so much better and easier and faster. And I'm like, yeah, well, if we got you a good computer, it would be even better. But
we got my kid an Oculus, and then I'll talk to you about it after the show, but it's been fun. He's been playing like Gorilla Tag.
My son plays that all the time.
Fucking Christ. It's like watching him play it. It's like, so the one we got came with a bundle with Beat Saber and Resident Evil 4.
Beat Saber is so fun.
I gotta get a couple of the music packs I like, because some of the music, I gotta gel with it to fucking play.
Resident Evil, I don't know if that one. We got one with a shooting game that's not very fun because we don't have the little rifle to bring up, so you're trying to like balance.
Nope. Yeah, no. This one, Resident Evil 4, came out originally on the GameCube. I actually beat it way back then. So, and then you can do full immerse. So you draw the gun, put the clip in, shoot, or pull the knife, stab. It's like, all right. So got with the zombie, stabbed him in the face. She said, yeah, nope, I don't. And then when I got done with when I was playing, my whole fucking equilibrium was so off. I was like, I remember I suffer from vertigo. So as soon as I took the headset off and I was like, I couldn't, it didn't feel right walking. I was like, yep, I'm going to be done for right now until I can get my sense of balance back. I was like,
I need to buy Creed for it, or Creed 2. We got the like one of their promo ones, the free download, but it only gives you so much time. And so we kept playing it was the training of it, and it was so fun, especially me being a boxer. Like, I could move my head, I could punch, you know, my feet didn't really matter. I wasn't doing much footwork with it, but like I could see I want to get that because that could be, not only is it fun, but it's a workout. Beat Saber's a workout.
All right. So we got videos primed up.
So let's start from the back here. See it? And
yep.
So those of you that are listening, those guys were trying to beat a pumpkin with something's up with that pumpkin, because he beat that thing with a metal pole like 3 times. Nothing happened, and then the guy goes to smash it with a shovel and completely misses. I could shovel the shock from that. Just hurting like hell. Ooh, did you see that?
That just brings back bad memories.
Face plant. Girl runs up a
metal slide.
And
in socks. Mind you, she was in socks.
Well, no, she took the socks off.
Oh. I don't know.
Maybe she didn't.
No, I think she took her shoes off and left her socks on.
Oh, that might have been it. Yeah.
And she face planted really fucking hard.
Like literally, like hands to the side, face right down.
No, but she didn't even try to fucking stop that.
I don't ever want to hear these idiots tell me about common sense gun control ever again. The other day, Joe Biden said he wanted to limit the number of bullets per cartridge, which is exceptionally stupid. And then the New York Times, while talking about AR-15s, used shotgun shells to depict the ammunition. You can see the original tweet here. They're clearly talking about the AR-15, which is chambered in 5.56 .223. And then they show a bunch of what appear to be 12-gauge shotgun shells. When you've proven time and time again that you don't know anything about firearms, like not even the bare minimum, the basics of firearms, I don't want to hear your take on common.
Hold on real quick. So we've got a 12-gauge, a 410, a 12-gauge. I know when he moved, I saw some yellow. That means it's a 20-gauge.
Guarantee you, if someone broke in my house, I'd rather have a shotgun in my hand, especially if close quarters.
Yep. The best gun,
I'd rather put
the best gun for home defense is the one you have next to you.
I'd put a hole in someone yay big.
Yeah.
Sense pieces of legislation because you do not possess common sense, especially not on this topic.
You're not wrong.
No. Every time I hear them say common sense, I'm like, you don't understand firearms to have common sense on it. You think everything is a pew-pew is going to blow a monster-sized hole in you.
I mean, a 12-gauge can put a monster-sized hole in somebody.
Okay. Tell me if this is someplace you'd want to work or get a pop from.
Is that a fucking bee?
Bee? Well, they're like hornets flying around there. Look at that thing.
Yep. Nope. Nope. You won't find me near that. I'd be like,
Look at
yep,
them.
nope.
They're all over the place.
Said no, bro. Bro, no.
Look
Good.
at all them. Got them all down here. There's buzzing around his fingers.
Yeah, no.
They're on the spout of the pop machine.
Nope. I'm good.
All right. And then finally, the one you sent me. It's Christmas, or it was Christmas. So we have to have a letter to Santa.
This shit on Facebook just fucking killed me. Dear Santa, I am writing this on the day after Xmas and I am very sad. I only received one of the two presents I asked for. Since you, I will assume that my missing gift was a mistake. I will give you 1 week to fix this, Jeremy. Dear Jeremy, I am sorry you are disappointed with your presents. You asked for 2 very expensive presents, and Santa can only do so much. You need to learn to be grateful for what you have, not upset about what you don't. If you continue to complain, I will have no choice but to add you to the naughty list next year, Santa. Dear Fatty, your threats don't scare me. I played your game and you did not deliver. This is not okay. I will give you 1 week and then you will pay. Jeremy. P.S. I don't know why you care that it's expensive when you have elf slaves to make things for you. I think you are naughty for having slaves. Period, Jeremy. Tell that fat bitch. Dear Jeremy, you are being a very bad little boy because you can't be happy with what you have. I have talked to your parents and told them to take away your Wii U. Wow. Fucking dick move. Now you have nothing. Once you learn to be grateful, perhaps you can have it back. I am very disappointed in you, Jeremy. You will need to be an extra good boy this year if you want to make it back on the nice list. And this shit's still going. Dear Santa, I do not like that stunt you pulled. You are on my naughty list. Now be afraid. You look slow and easy to kill. Enjoy your cookies next year because they will be poisoned. I hope you die. Jeremy was not fucking playing.
Damn, Jeremy.
Jeremy's gonna kill Santa with them. Just remember, Santa, go to Jeremy's house. Don't trust them milk and cookies.
Yeah.
Don't trust
Like,
it.
oh, dude, that's Jeremy's house. We're going to the next one.
Oh,
Jeremy's
I'll-
gonna poison the whole block just so that he's gonna have a cabal of kids. We're taking out Santa this year. This is the year Santa dies.
took his Wii U away. He had his parents take the Wii U away. That's awesome.
Oh God.
Oh.
Let's hit the contact button and head on out of here.
This is Fire Talk Radio Podcast, and you can check us out on firetalkradio.com. You can email us at firetalknetwork@gmail.com. You can send us a voicemail at 814-380-9820. You can always check us out live on YouTube and Rumble. Hit the like and subscribe button to find out when we go live, and subscribe to us on your favorite podcasting streaming platform.
We can only count to 4. 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 Numbers, lots of numbers.
Later.